Well, we are 11 days away from the presidential elections, a week and 4 days from tonight. Now, the big day beckons when all the hype, all the build-up, and all the strategy will be brought to the fore. Which way will the pendulum swing? Will the last gasp attempt to sway the voters eventually yield any fruit? Good evening. Welcome to the program. I'm Chamberlain Uso. Well, many woke up to the news that INEC's warehouse went up in flames. Well, there were concerns in many quarters, but the chairman, in reaction to that, said there were no alarm bells. It was non-sensitive and irrelevant materials, he says, were affected, materials for the 2011 elections. And so the preparations are still in top gear. Well, as always, we'll make our rounds with some of our correspondents. Let's take you through some of those who will be talking to us tonight from their locations. Let's look at that. Bukola Oriwa will speak to us from Oyo State, and then we'll have Hakeem Garba from Kwara. We'll also have Idris Jibrin, who will report to us from Kano, and then we'll have Pius Ango, who will talk to us from Benue. So all of them will be giving us updates as it happened where they are today. Well, let's take you through some of the highlights now. Now, you do remember that a lot is happening with the preparations for the elections. INEC today did speak about some of the other matters, but they did release some very fresh information about the distribution of the permanent voter cards. Yes, that extension still counts. Let's run you through some of the recent figures released by the Commission about the situation with the distribution of the permanent voter card. This figure remains static. This is the amount of registered voters. The number of registered voters, it still remains at 68,833,476 as of March 14, 2015. This year, that's the figure coming through from the Commission. So, of this figure, the total number of those who have collected their permanent voter cards is now 55,904,272. And then you have the total number of PVCs that have not been collected is 12,929,504. So the total in percentage of the number of PVCs collected, 81.22%. And then those who have not collected their PVCs is 18.78%. So there you go. This is the total number of those who have collected, and this is the outstanding figure. That's what they'll be hoping will change on or before the 22nd of this month. We'll tell you why in just a moment. Let's move on and flip on to the next slide now. Now this figure, because having looked through the entire distribution rates, some figures stand out here. Ogun State happens to record the lowest number of PVCs distributed. They've had this for a while now, so it still remains the same. But this is the total number of registered voters in Ogun State, 1,829,534 in Ogun State. And then the next figure happens to be the figure, no, not before we get to Zamfara, guys. Let's go back to that in just a minute. We still have some, excuse me, some outstanding figures to be looked at with respect to Ogun State. In Ogun State now, here is this. 49.45% is the total number of PVCs that has been distributed in Ogun State, and then you have 50.55% is the total number of PVCs not yet collected. So if you put them in figures, the number of PVCs collected is 904,647, and then 50.55 turns out to be 924,888. So will this change on or before the 22nd? They'll hope that that will be a certain yes. But then the opposite of this, in terms of percentages, let's take a look at Zamfara State. Zamfara State has a total number of registered voters at 1,495,717. That's the registered voters. But then, of this registered voters, this 95.97% is the total number of those who have collected their permanent voter cards, leaving 4.03% yet to be collected. Contrast, completely different from what we see in Ogun State. So in terms of percentages of those who have collected their PVCs, that's the distribution now. This is what you have. 1,435,452, those who have collected, and those who have not, 602,065. So that's the outstanding figure. So who knows, maybe when the deadline day does come, will this change as well? Well, don't forget now that the deadline is now the 22nd of March. That's when the doors will close. Well, that's when they say the doors will close. You never can tell. Who knows what else might happen, if there might be a change or not. We'll just keep tabs on that particular one. Well, that's what they say also earlier today. INEC did hold that session where they spoke about a number of issues concerning their preparations for the elections. Yes, indeed, security popped up concerning who will be where about the elections, how are they preparing. Here are some of the commentary quotes of what the Professor Attahiru Jega did say, the chairman of INEC, about the Commission's preparedness today. He did say, as he's always says, that they are indeed prepared to deliver free, fair, and credible elections. So some of the highlights of what the chairman of INEC said earlier today while he did hold that session. Well, one of our correspondents was there, but before we get to him, let's give you, a report put together about this meeting held today. Take a look.
Given the challenges surrounding the 2015 elections, which have necessitated the shift from February 14th to March 28th, questions have been raised on whether elections will hold or not.